Right, I've made my YouTube video and I'm making this to put at the beginning. I didn't realise how little I'd shown of me actually doing something because it was just difficult I was always in the way of the camera. So this video is mainly talking. I wasn't going to post it, but then I have because I thought it just keeps my sequence growing. So if you want to watch it, thank you very much. If you don't want to watch it, that's fine too, you know what I mean? So here we go. Right, so I'm doing a bit more on my cupboard. I've got some ceiling roses on. I had to cut and adapt them all because with the ceiling being on an angle, the roses are designed to sit flat, so you have to elongate the hole. And I'm just in the process of putting screw covers on. So what I've done, I've set my laser up so I'll get a nice straight line. I did these ones first at this side. Then I get my square and I sit my square underneath them and just line them up with the green line, the edge of the green line, and then I know they're all nice and square and in a line. I'll just get a screw cover. Sit that so it's square with the other one. Slide her across. Job's a good one. You know, I don't know if you can see, but these are the holes what I had to make for screwing on my template, for routing all this out. But I'm able to just cast a laser line up just off these, so I can put my screw covers on and just line them all up so it's all nice and vertical. There you go. They'll all be hidden behind a door, so you will never ever see them. So I'm just going to go do all the rest following that same method. And before I stuck them on, I cleaned all the panels with good old Sif. Used to be Jif, but it's now Sif. So I just wiped all my pencil lines off and everything and just got it all clean. Oh, it tidies it up, doesn't it? I've covered all entry points up with tape. I should have done that to before, but I couldn't see any muck in there. I've got skirtings to go around there, but I'm just going to sort out where all this cabinet goes here. I'm just waiting for a new saw blade and then I can cut all these and get them on. I'll show you my saw blade if I can find it. Right then, so what I've been doing is this. That simulates a panel which is going on all that bottom. Then that simulates a panel which is going to fasten to that panel, but the face of that will be in line with that. So it'll be here, which is there. Then I've allowed 602mm for the dishwasher. And then I've put these two units in. Well, I've just tacked them in. Oh, that's not bad that way. Oh, not bad that way there. That one there. Across the back. across there. Up there. And then what I've done, I've just tacked them together, but I've put those screws behind where the hinge plates go. But then that one is not. So what I've done, I've come in 50mm down, 50mm across. Then it gives you room to get a drill in to drill your hole. You know what I mean? I've seen some people fit them, screw them behind there. But then if in the future you want to do anything, take a unit out, you can't get to the fixing. And don't forget, your cupboard's full of holes anyway, so one more tidy hole somewhere accessible, I don't think makes a difference. That's just in tacking the units in. I can't put it in properly because I need to get all these units back out again. I'm trying to position everything so I can start working on all this, because I've got a cupboard to build for the air source heat pump manifold. That, and if I can get all this positioned properly, I can start working on that. I also had to disconnect all the ducting which was under there, so that I could just the legs. Oh, I've got that one to wind down. I've never wound that one down. I did all the others. I've never glued any ducting in because I knew it had to come back out, and I've got gas pipe to get under there and a couple of other bits. So I'm going to continue setting all these out, levelling everything up and trying to get something like right then. So I've done a little bit of an alteration with my units. So what have I done? I've moved this socket further across here an inch. I've just got that to plaster up in there and make good. So that enables me to move these units an inch down here, because what I didn't want was any doors here clashing here. I'll put myself an infill panel in there. So I'm just going to set this unit here where I want it to go. You've got to be so careful with these, because you don't want to snap the legs. They're so easy to snap. I've just plumbed this up and it needs to go that way, does the full unit. I just want to get this one right, because then I can make that end suit. So I don't just want to slide it along, because what happens is you can put tension on the legs and all your legs can end up being on the piss. So you want to lift it. So I'm just going to sort that now. So I'm going to push the unit against the wall, and then I can lift it and move it over that way 10mm. Like that. Let me just plumb it up. That's not far off, look. I can go another 5mm, another 10mm. Shift it over a bit more. That's not bad. Well, that'll look better. Get a socket on there. Just mark that. So now I want to position this one against that unit and get it all the bottoms levelled up with this, get it all plumb and everything. It's difficult to film what I'm doing because it's such a small area. Every time I lay down, I just block the camera. So what I did, that's level across there, level across there, level across there, level across there. Oh, just check up here. Oh, not bad there. And then we're not bad there. You know, when I screw it up, it'll just move a fraction. That's the thing as well. When you're adjusting your legs, if you've got a middle leg, make sure you wind it up, because it can end up rocking on the leg. Oh, and that mess there is just where I've altered all that plug. I've got that to clean out. Clean everywhere else. You can just wind that down. I'm not going to put it down yet, I'll put it down in a minute. I just want to lift the cabinet and drop it back to the floor, just to make sure that these legs are straining and on an angle. Give it a lift. Oh, just give it a lift. Little things can just wind you up, can't they? So they're flush there, because before I screwed them together, I had a piece of timber on and I clamped it. Flush there, you know, I had a piece of timber on, I clamped it just before I screwed it behind the hinge plate. Trying to get it here, and there's a bloody lip. I've tried prising one and pushing one, and I just can't get it. I don't know if you'll ever see it. I mean, it's flush there. It just seems to be this middle bloody bit. I just can't get it out. When I was on about earlier on, I'll show you my saw blade. This is it. So that's a good tooth. But these have all come off. Look at that. Took the lot off. Look at these. On my saw, behind my saw blade, there's a rubber shroud, which is part of the vacuum system. Behind that shroud, there's a metal shroud, for a better word, and that's fastened in by 2 screws at the side. One of the screws vibrated out, the shroud all dropped, it on my saw blade. So, wasn't good, so I've just put my new blade on, but not good at all. 80 quid blade, all for a little penny screw, or lack of maintenance. So I'm just going to show you something, because I'm quite happy with myself. This kitchen was designed years ago. I knew what I was, I've had it sorted a long time ago, and you know, the walls were even up. So on the plan it says that measurement should be 920 millimeters. You see it there. So these units shuttling away, they're where they want to be. That's where, you know, all in line, all right. That one's butted up against that one. That one's butted. All right, look, I'll get a millimetre there. They're not screwed together, but it's there. And that should be 920 millimetres. I'm just going to try and prop the camera so you can, just so you can see that. I'll come and get the camera again. Let's just shift my phone. Look at that. You can't get better than that, can you? Look. Look. And it's butted against the wall. Oh, I'll class that as a win. So I'm going to put another fixing in that corner for that top strip because it's not sitting back flush with this one. I'll show you how all this comes off in a minute, but that's only stuck out at the top because I haven't engaged it into the fixings. It does go back properly. I need to sort this bottom out here. I tried yesterday to get a 8x4 sheet of 18mm melamine. Nowhere has them in stock around me, and I find them on the internet, and depending where you go, they're wanting like anywhere between 60 and 200 and odd pound delivery. One company I found it was nearly £300 for an 8x4 sheet of 18mm melamine, and I can't believe people will actually pay that. Perhaps they don't. So I managed to get, this is the longest I can get in my car. So that's 2.5 meters long by 600. So I can get that inside my car. It just means I'm going to have a joint visible down here. Don't suppose it matters because there's other joints visible, but I just had it in my head I didn't want a joint, but I need to get my head in another gear, don't I? Just slides out like that, comes off. Just put it somewhere. I can take the big green panel off. And I need to take this one off. It's all dead easy. I'm just going to route a fixing in there so that it lines up with those two top doobry things. Well, I can honestly say I've broken its back, so it all comes to bits in minutes. The only thing I'm disappointed with, I couldn't get bigger sheets, because then I could have done away with these joins. You won't see that because that'll be hidden by the worktop. That's on there temporarily just so I've got it. That one's lifting up and putting at the right level, but I'll do that once the worktop goes on. That access panel on there, the door to go on. Oh, just a couple of bits to titivate, but it looks like, you know, a proper cupboard for that. Right, so I'm going to carry on with these units, putting them to level and getting them in the right position now that I know what I'm doing here, because on either side of that unit and that one there was supposed to be a full height decor panel, which is one of those which goes on the top of the unit. Some people put them down to the floor, but that affects the kickboard, but they look smart, or they cut them at the bottom of the unit. I didn't want to take it right down to the floor because I want to cut it and use the bottom half for making a cupboard round there, but I wasn't sure if it affected the doors with how the hinges work, but it doesn't. So I'm gonna cut a decor panel so it sits on top of that unit and then my worktop I'll finish up to it. Because I think it'll look nicer with that green coming down and blending into the door rather than a worktop splitting it. So I moved the socket over once. I moved it over. This is the thickness of a decor panel. And I think, you know, by the time I get a surround on that, it's going to be touching the panel, isn't it? I think I need to move this across again, just a little bit more. So I've been round and I've levelled all the units with my spirit level. So just to double check, I've just set my laser up. So there's my green line, just on the top corner. So look, it's not bad, is it, with that shelf there, down to there. Look, along the top edge. It's just this one. It just needs lifting a touch. So I'll put my brackets in. And I've put one in up there to hold these larder cupboards. Well, oven housing, fridge freezer. I'm just fastening the corner unit in. So I've screwed it there. And you always want to put your screws behind where the hinge plates go. And then you can't see them. But always just check your manual for your measurements. There's always so many holes. It's easy to get confused and just get the wrong one, so it's nothing, just to double check. Don't suppose it matters if you see a screw, you put a cover over it, but if you can get rid of them, just get rid of them. I think it just makes it tidier. You know, I just use a countersink bit, drill and countersink it, and then screw it up. I like to clamp everything up because then you can make sure everything's flush and nice. And these clamps work so much better than these ones. Yeah, nice and pretty. On these units down here, that's where the unit's finished there. So they're like 600 wide. There's a breakfast bar, 900 wide, because there's a gas hob goes here, and then behind it there's a glass extractor which all rises up out the worktop. So I've got to butcher all the back of this cabinet, not butcher, but set it out and cut it properly, because there's all the fan mechanism to go in, and I've got to build a wall along the back of here, but I don't know where. So I'm going to use this cardboard as my worktop, and then I'm just going to set out where the gas hob goes and the extractor, so that I can work out where the wall goes. I've tried to set that flush with the cabinet, but what I must remember is that my doors are 20mm, and then I've got the 2mm little thing which you stick on there to stop your doors clattering. So I just need to work out where my worktop is going in relation to the doors. Yeah, let me just work that out. Right then, so that piece of wood and the package behind is simulating the 22mm to the front of the door, which I'm going to call the front of the worktop. Look at the thickness of this just for a gas hob. I just want to find out the exact size, what I need to cut everything, and you can't be looking at the instructions. The manufacturer's instructions felt like that. Right, so what I've done, I've marked out, I did this just for the camera really, where the hob goes, check the measurements, that's where the extractor goes. So I've got to adapt the back of that cabinet, because on the extractor there's a big motor housing which has to attach to it, and then there's all duct work comes off that and connects to all that duct work which goes under the units. Showed you that in an earlier video. But I've got a wall to build down here, right through there. But now, because I know where everything's going, I can work it all out. I'll show you that on another video. I'm not sure how much footage I've filmed, but I'm going to end this video here. I'll carry on another one. So I hope you've enjoyed it, and I will see you next time, and thank you very much for watching.